back to another episode of Dojo Setting. Today we're going to do a how-to workshop. We are going to learn how to set an around the world sequence. Now, what is an around the world sequence? It's very hard to describe. The idea is that you are recycling handholds, meaning that you use the hold for one hand and then later in the sequence have to go back and use it for the other hand. Let's see if we can get one going. We'll throw some things on the wall and we'll talk about why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. So this is going to be my start hold. It's at a slight Gaston position to where you're not being able to pull down and lock it or oppose. You're going to have some tension here. The other reason why this is here, and you'll see once the other holds get added, I don't want somebody to cross off of this. It defeats the whole purpose. So the easiest way to get an around the world sequence to work is using pockets. Be careful with pockets. Depending on what grade you're climbing, they can be very dangerous. You can very easily hurt your tendons. I'm going to put this up in as a Gaston. Now, the reason for that is because it's a Gaston here, but when I recycle it, it's a downhill. So that's good. So the next sequence here is we are going to come down to an undercling. Now that you want something fairly good because you're going to end up crossing and pulling all the way out of it. So you want something really good. For me, I have one of the atomic double in cuts. I'm going to put it right here. The other thing about an around the world is that you don't want the person to do this. This is a very awkward position for your wrist anyways, but you want to make them want to go up first and then underneath. So from here you're going to unwind, so let's add that hold. When this does work, what's going to happen is you're going to Gaston underneath, and the right hand is able to go back up. The next hold, we're going to put up that way. Okay, now that we have the hand sequence set, let's work on the feet. The feet are going to be the most important part of this because if you don't put them in the right place or you don't turn them far enough, it's going to be skippable. So let's work on that. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't want people to cross into the pocket. I want them to Gaston into the pocket. So if I put a foot over here, it's going to set them up to do that. So I can't put feet over here. It's going to encourage the wrong. I'm going to make the foot very directional so that we're going to be pushing this way to where hitting it like this is going to feel really awkward. And you're definitely going to want something further out left as well. So we have the general idea on the wall. I have some inklings on some things that are going to go wrong with this. Let's talk about those things before so we can see if I'm right. I think the start hold is going to have to turn a little bit more Gaston. The reason being is I think it's too down pull enough to where you could probably go into that undercling and skip the sequence. It's going to be really awkward, but generally speaking, people grab the hold that's closest to them, and that undercling is closer than the pocket, even though the pocket leads them to the correct beta. Also, I think the start foot might need to rotate to be a little bit more directional as well. I'm probably going to have to rotate it clockwise to get more of a pushing effect to discourage the undercling beta. So those are my two thoughts. We'll see if I'm right, we'll see if I'm wrong, but let's climb it, let's find out. The sequence works. Let's try to break it now. So the first thing I'm going to try to do is cross to the pocket, because then that eliminates the need for all the other moves. Perfect. So crossing into the pocket does not work. I'm sure it's possible, but it's way harder. And that's what the idea is, right? You're trying to make your beta the easiest solution. It doesn't matter if the other ones exist. As long as they're harder, you're in good shape. Okay, now let's try to go straight into the undercling instead of the pocket. So, it's cheatable. We can skip the sequence. And honestly, it didn't feel that bad. It felt about the same difficulty as doing the actual around the world sequence. What I'm going to do is turn the start hold just a little bit counterclockwise and make it a little bit more Gaston, a little more body tension. So that way, hopefully, the awkwardness is going to deter people from doing that. Still cheatable. What I am going to do is turn that foot a little bit more directional. We're going to rotate that undercling a little bit. Awesome. So it works. I think that going to the undercling is going to be harder. Honestly, I don't see people doing it that way. So there are some tips on how to set an around the world sequence. Confuse whoever's climbing on this thing. It's a cool sequence that sort of gets the mind thinking a little bit. So I hope you liked it. If there are any other moves you would like me to cover, let me know. More than happy to do that. Subscribe, and see you next time.